In order to be successful for today's instruction, you need a whiteboard and focus and study guide, ladies and gentlemen. Friendly reminder, tomorrow you do have a test, 25 questions, of course, all multiple choice. Focus, outline, and study guide are due. I know that you are super hardcore dedicated students, so you are ready to go for tomorrow. No drama. Anyway, see, they're excited for us as well. All right, here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the dude who's the foundation of personality? All right, Kelly, when I say so, can you open this little slide?
Yeah.
Perfect, because I am like, my feet are killing me today. And I don't feel like standing anymore. Emily! Freud, on your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called what are your 3 parts of your personality according to Freud? Do not erase them when this question is over. What are the 3 parts of your personality according to Freud? Do not erase them. What are they, Ian?
Id, ego, and superego.
There you go. Put a star next to the one that's based on pleasure principle, please. Good. What is it, Annalise? Id. Put a star next to the one that is based on reality principle. Good. Lindsay. Put a star next to the one that's focused on libido. See? You thought I was going there, and I didn't. I took a turn. Nice. What is it, Corinne? Id. Put a star next to the one that's controlled by your conscience. Good. What do we got, Camden? On your you can wipe it now. Thank you. On your whiteboard, what am I describing? Is the principle by which the ego functions. It's the satisfaction of the demands of the id only when negative consequences will not result. Good. What are we describing, Emily?
Reality.
Perfect. What am I describing? It's a principle by which the id functions, the immediate satisfaction of needs without regard of the consequences. Good. What is it, Emerson? There you go. On your whiteboard, give me all 5 psychosexual stages in order, please. Charles, come on. Good. What do we got, Alexis?
Oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital.
There you go. Oh, put a star. Shit. Don't erase. Please don't hate me. Put a star next to the one that is 1 to 3 years old, and its conflict is toilet training. Good. What do we got, Annie? Anal stage. Perfect. On your whiteboard, please tell me put a star next to the one that's dealing with the Oedipus complex. The one where you want to have sex with your parents. Curtis. Phallic. Oh, it's stuck. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one is when you have no sex, all of your sexual feelings are repressed because you're focusing on social. What do we got, Grace Mary? Latency. Which one is completely controlled by your id? Completely controlled by your id, Jalissa. Oral. On your whiteboard, which one are you developmentally in? Good. What is it? Grace Mary. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the therapy that Freud created? It is when your therapist sits behind you and you just talk and talk the whole time, and hopefully your subconscious comes through. What is it, Kate? Psychoanalysis. A psychoanalyst is the person who performs psychoanalysis. On your whiteboard, please tell me, who are people who agree with some of Freud's theories, however, they reject some of his more outlandish ones? What do we call them? Come on, Sophia. Hayden. Neo-Freudians. Yes, I know, but I need to see what you actually know and what you don't know, my love. On your whiteboard, please tell me, who's the guy behind the collective unconscious? He believes we have shared memories. Good. What do we got? Lindsay. There we go. Can you open my little window, my darling? Yeah. Peak laziness. Here we go. All right. So yesterday we did talk about Adler, who is behind birth order. Yes? Okay, today we're doing horny. Of course she's a neo-Freudian. Okay, horny believes everything is based on basic anxiety. That when we came into the world, we were the smallest creature in the world for a split second, and that anxiety and how we handle that anxiety shapes our personality. So like everybody in this room handles anxiety a little bit differently. Some of us handle it well, some of us handle it poorly, okay? With that being said, she says that anxiety that we felt from birth has shaped who we are. What do you think? I can see it a little bit, for sure. Because, I mean, like, how you handle stress, I think, is a huge indicator of who you are as a person. Can we agree? If you lash out, or whether you can manage things well. I think it's interesting. She also came up with neurotic personalities. Okay? She's the one who has come up with the idea of, like, you're so neurotic. Have you heard people say that? She's the one behind all that, saying that they cope with stress in abnormal ways, which is what neurotic personalities are. Are we good? And then we have, Erickson, who believes that it is social rather than sexual relationships that shape who we are as people. So Freud is all about sex, obviously. I think we got that pretty clearly, yes? I think we're pretty comfortable with knowing who is the crazy sex addict in the group, yes? With that being said, it is Erickson who believes our social experiences shapes our personality. So if you have trust issues, it's because of your social connections with people. What do you think about this one? I like this one. This one is definitely probably the most popular of the neo-Freudians, and that's Erickson. It's on your focus, my love. It's where all your peers are right. See? Okay, so Erickson believes it is our social relationships rather than our sexual relationships that shape who we are as people. What do you got?
What is penis envy?
Penis envy is that belief that women hate men because they can stand up and pee and we can't. Actually, I am kind of jealous of that, I'm not going to lie. But because men have penises and they derive power from their penis, that's what makes women jealous. That's what they used to say. All feminists used to be penis people with penis envy. That's how they used to describe feminists. What do you got?
On the focus, it said for the chart for them, it says conflict with Freud.
Well, the conflict for Erickson would be he rejects the sexual component of it. The conflict for Horny is she rejects penis envy. She thinks men are obsessed with women because we can make babies. Do you think any man in the world would be like, man, I wish I could bake a baby and like push that out? No. No, I do not. Huh? For Adler, Adler believes it is inferiority, not sexual prowess, like sexual abilities that give conflict. And then Jung believes we all just have, it's not unique. The human experience is not unique. Which I kind of agree with. Can we agree? Everybody's life in this room is a little bit different, but can we all agree we have a lot of strong similarities? So I kind of agree with that. Adler's, he believes it's inferiority, not sexual prowess. It shapes who we are. Sophia. I don't know what 5 is. We haven't gone there yet. See where I am? Slide number next. Let me get there. Okay, so psychodynamic. So psychoanalytic is all Freud, ladies and gentlemen. Psychoanalytic is all Freud. Psychodynamic is all of your neo-Freudians. All of your neo-Freudians fall under psychodynamic. A comes before D. Freud has to come before the Freudians do. So, psychodynamic believes that there is defense mechanisms, which is one of Freud's things, which we're going to come up again to here later. They believe, this is number 5 on your focus, by the way. This is what Sophia was literally asking me about. Okay? So, the modern psychoanalytic is all based on the unconscious mind and all that stuff. Okay? Some stuff that Freud came up with, we can't scientifically research. Like when a kid likes sucking on a binky, can we really test to see if he's just enjoying the having something to do? Because if a baby wasn't sucking on a binky, what else would he be doing? Crying or just drooling, staring at the ceiling? Wouldn't you rather have something to do? So, is it just because he's bored that he wants to suck on the binky, or is he deriving sexual pleasure? It's a little hard to tell. Okay? Alright. So, we have gone over psychoanalytic. Psychoanalytic is entirely based on Freud. Psychodynamic are your neo-Freudians. Okay? So, everyone, including Freud and all the other people we just talked about. Now we're stepping into behaviorism. Now, of course, I know you remember my week 1 instruction, of course. Can we agree? Where we studied all of the different types of psychologies. Behaviorists believe the only thing you should measure is behavior. Behaviorists believe you should only measure behavior. So they don't care what you think. They only care about what you do. They don't care what motivations you have for it. They just care how you behave. So that's what behaviorism is all about. Behaviorist divine personality is try that again. Behaviorist divine. I swear I'm not having a stroke. Behaviorist define personality as a set of learned responses or habit. Things that you do on a regular basis. So what is a habit? A habit in behaviorism is a set of well-learned responses that have become automatic. Ladies and gentlemen, I wake up every morning at 4:51. Every morning. My alarm goes off at 4:51. I am out of bed before 4:52. I am out of my house before 5:11. Every single morning, I'm at the dog park by 5:15, and I am back in my car driving home by 5:28. I walk in my door of my condo at 5:32 every morning. Yes, that's how my day goes. And McCrae Bennett's schedule varies widely. Every day is a new day. He has no idea. That's a habit. I wake up every single day, and I wake up and I do the same things. What's another habit? Something that becomes automatic. So 4:50, Monday through Friday. Like McCrae said, he would take the dog for a walk today because we're going to a parenting class today. I know. And so he can't do afternoon walks. So he was like, I'll do morning walk because you're going to have to do an afternoon walk. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, it'll just be easier if I do morning walk because my schedule's already ready to go. This is how you know you're old. You're excited about clean floors, and you have the opportunity to sleep in, and you refuse. Okay, so when we talk about behaviorism, behaviorists, we're talking about social cognitive learning theorists. These are theorists who emphasize the importance of both influences of other people's behavior and person's own expectancies. So there are some things that you do that you have learned from other people. Would you agree? Like how to do, like for instance, you may not believe this, but I can do an okay job on makeup. I don't wear it to school. Ew, I'm not putting in super effort for you people. Are you kidding me? Ew. It sits on my face all day, and my face is already bad, and ew. However, I can tell you, I learned none of this makeup stuff on my own, and it's been from friends that I've had to, or YouTube. Okay? That is the only way I figured out makeup, because I'm not smart enough, you know what I mean? How to talk to people. I emulate people that I respect and try to mimic their behaviors. I am not a very social person. So when I'm uncomfortable, you'll see that in those situations, I give lots and lots of compliments. When you see Miss Bennett complimenting people a lot, it's because she's uncomfortable. And people like compliments, so people like people who give compliments. So, when I'm nervous and anxious and uncomfortable in a social situation, guess what I always say? Compliments. Oh my God, I love your shoes. They're so cute. Do you think I give a shit about your damn shoes? I'm sorry, the chick who wears Toms every day. Do you think she gives a shit about shoes? No, your girl doesn't. But if I'm awkward and uncomfortable, I've learned by watching other people be successful adults who can interact normally with the world that compliments make people like you. So what do? Compliment when I'm uncomfortable. Then we have the social cognitive view, which is a learning theory that cognitive processes such as anticipating, judging, and memory, and imitation of models. I am a huge proponent of the social cognitive view. I believe that I can conquer most of my stress and most of my inequities, because every single person in this room has strengths of their personality and weaknesses. Can we agree? The way I deal with my inability to interact with people is by social cognitive view. Have you noticed I don't build in much time for you people to socialize? Yes, there's like very little time. I give you structured time so you can pretend like you socialize, but guess what? You're doing what I told you to do. You're not really socializing, okay? I don't want you to socialize because I'm uncomfortable. So I structure time to make you feel like you socialize, but you didn't socialize because I don't want to listen. Because it makes me uncomfortable, because it's easy for you people. And for me, it's awkward. So, social cognitive view is when you take things into consideration in order to give your weaknesses strengths. So, I will tell you, when I go to like McCrae's like events where I have to be like the wife, because my husband is like a big deal in his office. So when I have to be like the hosting wife and like be polite and like charming and charismatic, so the people who work for McCrae like me, so they like McCrae a little bit more, because it's like the dynamic between a husband and wife, like you're supposed to be like a good team. I am like super stressed, and I come up with all of these things to talk about in my head and come up with like a little list, and McCrae and I game plan before we go in of things I can mention to his colleagues. Because if I don't go in with a plan, then I just go black out like trauma, and then I just start spewing things, and that's not a good look for the wife of like the boss. You know what I mean? Stressful. Reciprocal determinism is by Bandura. Oh my God, Bandura! Yes, he's the Bobo Dolls dude. Okay, so you need to know that reciprocal determinism is by Bandura. So I'd write Bandura in the box. Huh? Oh, it's number 6. Thank you, Emerson. He believes that the factors of environment, personal characteristics, and behavior interact to determine future behavior. This is the foundation of our modern interpretation, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So, with applying for colleges, all my seniors in the room, you love it when I bring up college, don't you? One of the complaints people bring up every single year is that how hard it is to get into universities, but it's easier for some people to get into university. And then when you ask them, who are these some people? And they're like, well, there are quota systems, Miss Bennett, so if you hit the quota, then you're good to go. It's like, oh, okay. So I'm like, Those systems, what is it called when there's quota? Does anyone know? Like when we have a certain amount of black, Hispanic, white, Latino, Asians, they're cutting back Asians everywhere. So the most discriminated race in colleges is not white people. It's who? Asians. Asians by far. Like Harvard will only accept like 1% Asians. Even though if 300 qualify and beat out 300 white people, how many will they pick? 3. They only allow 1% in now. Is that fair? Huh? What, the whole race? No, because they just said there's too many Asians now. Well, beforehand there was too many white people. You know, like it just. What do you mean?
There's too many. You can't just say there's too many Asians, so you can't go to college.
Apparently, you can. It's stood up in the Supreme Court. You can discriminate. And Harvard's private, so they can do whatever the hell they want, and they have the largest. They have the largest amount of money for any university in the world. So they're doing just fine. Okay. So reciprocal determinism is looking at all the factors that make you who you are and taking those into account. Ms. Bennett. Thank you. Experience signed up. Self-efficacy. is the perception of how effective a behavior will be in a particular circumstance. So self-efficacy is how much you do. Okay? So you can have a high efficacy or low efficacy. What high efficacy means is that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be successful. Okay? So if something bad happens, do I just say, screw it, who cares? Or do I keep working at it? Self-efficacy is I keep working and chipping away towards things. So some people in this room have a low self-efficacy. Can we agree? Like they won't help themselves. Everyone has that one friend of theirs who just can't help but be useless. Like they just won't do anything to help themselves. This teacher hates me. Why does the teacher hate you? Because they don't do my work. Well, why don't you do your work? Because they don't do my work. What do you mean you don't do your work? Because I don't like my teacher. Well, why don't you like your teacher? Because my teacher hates me. Well, why does your teacher hate you? Oh, because I don't do my work. That's a low self-efficacy. And you have people like Emerson who have a high self-efficacy. She's like on like week 40 outline over there or some shit. Okay? I know. She has time to make lines.
Not the same as what?
I know. I can't.
Wait, Ms. Bennett said not the same as what?
It's not the same as self-esteem.
Self-esteem.
Self-efficacy is when things go bad, are you going to do something about it? There's a lot of people in the world who just accept it. Every single person in this room knows plenty of people who just accept bad things, yes?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay? So, that's a low self-efficacy. A high self-efficacy, if things go wrong in my life, which they do on a regular basis, I'm going to do something about it. That's high self-efficacy. Like, for instance, I'm going to a parenting class. I get made fun of because I go to parenting classes. By my friends. I agree. Huh?
Are they parents?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're like, oh my god,
Okay,
you're going to...
kids in a few years compared to yours in a year, and then they can
I agree. That's why I'm going to the parenting class tonight. Okay?
Would they rather you like not as a parent?
Well, they're like, you'll just figure it out. People have been giving like birth in woods. You can figure it out.
You're still gonna have to figure
And I'm
it
like,
out.
yeah. I'm like, no, I don't want to kill the kid. So I have a high self-efficacy, which means I'm a sucker. All right. So rotters. You need to know that this is rotter. So in the box for locus of control, you need to write rotter. They believe that people's tendency to assume they either do or do not have control in their lives. It kind of builds off of what we were just talking about. If you feel like you have control over your life, you're going to be much more driven and much more self-esteem. If you see that events happen to you, like your parents got a divorce and that happened to you. Well, my parents got a divorce. Then you're going to see life as being like forced upon you and you have no control. I had a kid a couple years ago who was like a good student, and then his parents got divorced his sophomore year and he literally quit. He almost failed out of high school. Like the parents' divorce like really affected him. Like so much so he almost failed out of high school. He had almost a 4.0 his freshman year. At the beginning of his sophomore year, his parents got a divorce and he stopped doing anything. Literally barely passed high school. Could not get into college. So he's actually in the Army right now. So which is a good thing for him because he clearly needs the structure. Can we agree? So he saw his parents' divorce as happening to him. That it was him being devastated by the divorce. Okay? He lost all control over his life, which meant everything else was meaningless. If you have a high internal control, you believe that yes, the divorce happened, however, I have goals for myself. I want to go to college. I want to do this. And it just depends on your perspective. Now, if you were put into a situation where you've never really had to really worry about really, really tough things like paying bills, all of those things, you're going to have a much more higher internal locus of control to some degree. Can we agree? However, some people, it just depends on your person. So not all wealthy people have a high internal. Some wealthy people, how many rich kids do you know who don't take advantage of the opportunities they have? So many, absolutely. Like some of these kids' parents own football fields at Florida. Okay? And, like, they own, like, I know I've had, like, 4 or 5 kids who, like, have wings of Florida, University of Florida, named after their families. And they don't have the grades to get into Florida. And they're like, it's fine. My parents' names are on the building. Must be nice, I guess, but what a piece of shit, in my opinion. But that would be a low internal control. Does that make sense? All right. Humanistic perspective. Humanistic perspective is the belief that your personality makes people uniquely human. Okay? And we're all about freedom of choice. That you are exactly who you want to be. Okay? So, this also deals with, like, depression. If you're kind of like one of the sad, like, not a sad person, but if you have, like, a much more melancholy personality. I am not a warm, fuzzy person. Can we agree? No one's ever been like, oh my God, Miss Bennett, you're the light of our day. Ever in my life have I been called someone's light of their day. God. Okay? I have a very, I would say, gray personality. I'm not bright and shiny. Kind of cranky. Flecks of red. I don't know.
I think your brain's dull. You're definitely not dull. You're not. There's nothing
But I'm not
dull.
excitable either.
I feel like you vision yourself as this light.
Yeah, you're like.
Yeah,
think about yourself.
I
so
think you have the
different.
wrong like perspective of yourself.
But you don't see me in my social situations. You don't get to see me on my time. I'm on your time.
Like for
And
us,
on my time, my personality would not suit doing this. My personality, when I'm not with you guys getting paid to be here, and you need to perform on the AP exam because I need that $50 a head. So I don't know if you know, but I'm like broke. So I need you to do well on that AP exam, which is why we've been working every single day, and we will work till we're here. And McCrae is convinced I'm giving birth at Plant High School. Just straight up, straight up ready to go. So with that, huh?
I did that be epic. No, that's
Oh my God, that is just so disgusting. Okay, so with that being said, you know, my personality does not suit to being a teacher. So I force myself to have to be more understanding and more kindness. I know the person you see is force. In my own personal life, I'd rather sit on the couch and read a book and not go out. But here we are. Okay. Rogers' theory, self-actualization. Okay? We've talked about him before. Self-actualization is the one to strive to one's fullest capacity. Do you remember that? It's the pyramid. Hello? Oh my God, people, we did it right before the AP, right before the midterms. Self-actualization,
What's in there?
be your best self.
like you had to survive, like you have to satisfy food, water.
Oh, like the primary.
Yeah, you had to go through the primaries, and then you could deal with the self-esteem things, and then at the very top, yeah, and then you had, well, that's a different section, and I've covered that like 6 times, so, I mean.
Okay, let me have my moment.
So, self-actualization is trying to reach your fullest potential. That's what it's about. It's a self-concept is when a person interaction with important, significant people in one's life. Okay, so when you are around important people of value to you and people you genuinely respect, your self-concept changes. Like, there will be people you come across in your life. Like, there was this girl named Kate who I met at Flagler. Don't ask me what her last name is. I have no idea. But she made a couple comments to me that have really resonated in my teaching. Because she was, like, the perfect student, perky. She was the teacher. This is in teaching school. Like, obviously, I was getting my undergrad for teaching. And she used to wear the teacher outfits. She was elementary school. So, like, she had different themed dresses. Like, that's how hardcore of a teacher she was. Like, she kind of looked like Miss Frizzle, but, like, a little bit of cooler, hipper Miss Frizzle. Like, she used to have themed dresses that she would perfectly match for whatever we were discussing in class that day.
I didn't want to match the school bus.
Oh, my God. That's like a cultural reference.
No, I had no idea.
I didn't watch it.
That show was
Yeah, but you know the reference.
I do know what you're talking about. That's the only thing
Anyway, so this girl, Kate, she was absolute perfectionist, absolutely a phenomenal teacher. You could even tell, like, she was just born, lived it, like, loved it. And she made a couple comments to me. Not that I was a shit human being, but, like, about just being better to be better for our students. And she made a couple comments to me that were really poignant and really in tune. And your girl hasn't forgot them. Just being like, you know, just pushing and passion are two different things.
That's good.
You can push someone, but if you don't have the passion behind it, then you're just being rude. But if you show how much you care about something, then you can push anyone to be better. And I thought that was like, damn, girl. Don't ask me what her last name is.
What does she teach now?
She was an elementary ed. But she looked like an elementary school teacher. Like, you saw her coming and you were like, here she comes. Anyway, so then you have self. And it is when the ego, that's funny. When the ego to manage other archetypes balance out the personality. Your real self is who you actually are when you are frank about who you are and what you're good at. For instance, I am not very good at singing. I am not very good at small talk. I am very good at getting shit done and organized. You should see my baby shower spreadsheet. It has now grown to like 15 pages. Your girl's killing it. By the way, AP World is practically almost done with all of their content for the entire year. All planned, ready to go, signed, sealed, delivered, like a boss. So proud. Real self. Those are things I'm actually good at. Then you have your ideal self. I would love to tell you that I am a really kind person all the time. I'm not. You should see me behind my little wheel of my Mini Cooper. Rage. Start to finish.
You make your like own parking spot.
Well, I used to have like a primo spot, like the real spot, but then I got kicked out because a rich kid wanted to buy the spot,
I remember
I hate how they do
which
that.
pissed me off. So I said, screw it. And I told Mr. Wade that he should buy me a sign because I'm the one who got robbed of my spot, and I've been here 6 years, and this little shit's going to be here for 4 years, but he can only drive for maybe a year and a half, and that's rude. So I asked him to buy a sign for me, and he said no. So I just parked it. And that's where I am. That's where I live now.
Can you go back to one more time?
So, perception of who you would like to be. Like, I wish I was like a warm, fuzzy person to a degree. No, I don't. I wish I was a kind person. I really do. I'm not mean, but I'm not like a warm, like kind person.
You can be. Like,
Yeah.
you are
Well, yeah,
sometimes.
I can be, but like, it's really hard. Like, when I have kids crying in front of me over stuff, like, I just want to laugh.
Someone's talking about how they cried you last year.
Well, that's not
It doesn't go well. If you cry in front of me, it's not going to go the way you expect it. Like, you're not going to get my soft spot.
You know.
Like, it's just going to be like, life's hard, man. Like, do better. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, unless it's like a real thing. Like, we get that, yes. Like, there's a difference between like stressful, like school's hard versus, you know, like real life things. And real life things I do have compassion for, Corinne. Okay, don't look at me like that. Like, I'm just a horrible, heartless person. But like, you're stressed because your lack of planning is not me being emotional for you. Sorry.
Once in Mr. Ren's class, someone went up to him and was like, "Please drop this," like after he's using a card or something like that, and he was like, "Nope." And she starts crying, then she walked out, and he was like, "I have no pity for her. Like, she didn't try at all."
That's right.
That's Ren now. Ren's cutthroat.
Like, I was
Ren
like,
is very cutthroat on that
he
stuff.
is-
All right, here we go. So, Roger's theory of personality. Positive regard is people who have warmth, affection, love, and respect from their significant others in one's life. So if you have positive regard, hopefully every single one of you, you may not be getting it from all people in your life, but hopefully you have a couple people that you can look to who just love you for who you are. Can we agree? You don't need everyone to give you positive regard. What that means is that they literally love you and they will do whatever they can for you. They show up. And that is the most important thing. Not everyone in your life shows up. Can we agree? You know that. I don't need to tell you that. As you get older, it's even harder. And some people will not show up. I don't have a lot of friends, but I have a lot of acquaintances. Like, I know people, but I have a very small group of friends. If I call you a friend, I know that you will show up. Okay? They have positive regard for me. If I called my girl Jasmina and said that Jalissa was giving me a problem, my girl Jasmina would be beating the shit out of Jalissa in the parking lot today after school if necessary. And I wouldn't mess with her. She's tiny, but like, goddamn, that chick can ferocious. Then you have unconditional positive regard. That is your parents, hopefully, or one of your parents, or a grandparent. It's family typically. Or if you find your significant other. But then your significant others could leave you if you're getting caught in a huge cheating scandal and they're like, hell yeah, I'm done with you. So maybe not unconditional. But it's typically your parents. Do not start a rumor that Samantha Bennett is starting this major cheating scandal. That is not what's happening here. Anyway, unconditional positive regard means no matter what you do, your parents will love you. If you fail out of college, your parents are still going to love you. If you fail out of high school, your parents are still going to be there to support you and help you. Do you have that? You probably do. You probably do. And hopefully you can look to at least one person in this world and say, no matter what, this person will love me. When people come out and announce that they're gay, bi, trans, whatever there is, the biggest thing that they worry about is worrying about whether people will accept me who I am. That's the scariest thing. And they want that unconditional positive regard. And sadly, is everyone given this? No. And do some people's bullshit political and religious beliefs get in the way of unconditional positive regard? Absolutely. Which makes it so terrifying for people to come out and announce to the world who they are, which I think is ridiculous. They have to, but that's a whole other side point. And then conditional positive regard is your friends. If you're doing things your friends like, they'll like you. Like, for instance, you all have one friend you know uses you for something. Can we agree? Like, one of them uses you for a ride. You have someone in your life who only needs you for their math homework. You have one person in your life who only calls you when there's nothing else going on. And they literally have no other options. And they're so desperate that they'll hang out with you. That's conditional positive regard. They'll only do it when they kind of need you to. And then you have fully functioning person who's in touch with the trusting, deep, innermost urges and feelings. If you meet this person, send them my way. It's like Oprah. Like, she's in touch with all of her, like, parts of her personality. You know what I mean? Like, she knows what's up. Don't you think? No, Luke? You think she's full of shit?
I don't know enough about her.
She's not your generation. You didn't come home at 4 o'clock and watch Oprah. All right, goodbye. There's still stuff I didn't get to.
Will we find the definition?
Yes.
The definition.
I was flipping through this, so it's on the video, so you can pause it on the video.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Trying to help out my squad here. Goodbye.